Hi, I'm the Toy Guru. I love toys. I have a degree in toys. And if you love toys too, then this is the channel for you. As He-Man and Masters of the Universe fans, a lot of us know all about the different great battles on Eternia. There was, of course, the Great Wars that took place early in the history of Eternia and set the stage for the sharing of technology and magic among many of the different races. And, of course, the First Ultimate Battleground, fought before the Towers of Eternia were magically thrust underground by a spell from Eldor. And, of course, that battle is known for the moment when the Sword of Heat was passed into the Grayskull bloodline. But it is the Second Ultimate Battleground that is really the one that has captured the imagination of He-Man fans around the world. This was the battle that involved all of the main characters that most of pop culture knows, from Filmation or the 2000X series. The Second Ultimate Battleground really is toy history that deserves to be remembered. To celebrate the 30th anniversary of the He-Man brand, upper management at Mattel in 2012 gifted a non-media budget to the brand team. Non-media is usually funds used for creating things like convention items, giveaway items, or for larger brands taking out TV commercials. But being the small brand it was, the brand team for Masters of the Universe Classics decided to commission 3 mini-comics, the final one telling the story of the Second Ultimate Battleground and an homage to the original mini-comic that came with the Eternia playset in the 1980s. But it is the Second Ultimate Battleground that is really the one that has captured the imagination of He-Man fans around the world. This was the battle that involved all of the main characters that most of pop culture knows, from Filmation or the 2000X series. And this is where the 2012 minicomics picked up, where the 2000X series was going. The third season was planned to have the Masters of the Universe become renegades in their own land, hiding out in caves underneath the planet. And with events going the way they were, even Skeletor was forced out of power, being drained of many of his magic abilities after his Havoc Staff was stolen by King Hiss. Skeletor now teaming up with the Masters of the Universe, it was time to get ready for the giant. What's most fascinating about the Second Ultimate Battleground is that it involved virtually every character the brand ever had. I mean, of course, there were some characters that would take place in the past and some who took place in the future. But for the current time period, the, shall we call it, Filmation time period, it really involved everyone, even vehicles and characters that had no screen time at all and only appeared on things like posters or in mini-comics. In a way, visually, it really represented the culmination of the brand, and as a story that really was leading from the 2001 Mike Young production series, you could see this as almost a season finale that could have been had the show continued. After some quick introductory panels, the third mini-comic opens right up into the middle of the battle, where you see every toy in your collection pretty much going at it. Of course, these double-page spreads were completely chock full of Easter eggs. Frosted there, coming in like Iceman from the X-Men, as well as the Star Sisters in the background. You can see King Hiss with Skeletor's Havoc Staff, and if you look carefully behind him, there is Pig Boy from the 1987 movie hanging out behind one of the Horde troopers. There were also new characters introduced, such as the Great Black Wizard, an Ex Machina character that could basically solve issues that came up in continuity. And you saw Skeletor, without his Havoc Staff, now having to resolve himself to using a giant space blaster. Comics being a visual medium, this was used to show that Skeletor lacked a lot of his abilities and now had to rely on something as simple as a gun in order to fight. He could no longer take on the characters he used to when he possessed the Havoc Staff. Teela also received a bit of an upgrade, where she sheds her sorceress-inspired cloak and you see her in her full Battleground regalia, which of course was inspired by the old DC Comics, and when the toy was released, she was noted as Battleground Teela. And that's exactly why, because this is the outfit she fought with during the Second Ultimate Battleground, allowing her to move more like a warrior and not restrained by the cloaks of a sorceress. Other Easter eggs in the background include things like Faker driving the land shark, as well as Bionatops, who had recently returned with He-Man from Preternia in the first and second issue of the minicomic series. You also saw their Snake Men, different Horde villains, and, well, even characters from the '87 movie showing up when possible in the background, like Saurod there. Man-at-Arms fighting as Snake Man-at-Arms, and right behind him came characters from the model kits, such as the Wind Raider driver. And, of course, Eva Lynn, also in her Battleground accessory look, followed up right by that Great Black Wizard, again using him visually to finally bring into the brand for the first time. Eva Lynn's action figure release, also labeled as Battleground Eva Lynn, was a great way to both re-release her into the toy line and again pay homage to this great moment in time. Her yellow skin was explained as her powered-up mode when she's casting spells. And of course, Skeletor got another shot, or rather another illustration, of him blasting off with his demon-inspired gun since lacking the Havoc staff. The 2000X series plotlines continued with the third double-page spread, showing King Randor's now complete Council of Eternia charging into the battlefield. Spolians, Avians, Stratos, all of the different species of Eternia were represented, even the Beastmen. For example, the leader of the Beastmen, named Red Beast, was based on this original artwork that was done in 1981 as a concept. While originally deemed too bear-like in relationship to Chewbacca, who was popular, the character finally found a home as the leadership class of the Beastmen, where not all of them looked exactly the same. And, much like picking up other threads from the 2000X series, in an episode where several of the Masters were turned into vicious snake men, while they were able to revert afterwards, in the final episode, which was released as a comic with the DVD set, it's revealed that Man-at-Arms is permanently turned into a Snake Man. The DNA that was changed with the power of the Serpent's Ring was able to manifest itself and revert him back to his reptile form. This led him to get into a one-on-one battle with his replacement as Royal Man-at-Arms, Clampchamp, and while Clampchamp didn't want to have to face off with a fellow master and a friend and colleague of his, Snake Man-at-Arms left him no choice, and he was forced to use his weapon to impale Snake Man-at-Arms right through the chest in front of his daughter's eyes. Quite a tragic moment, but in the end, a happy one, since he reverts back to his human form for just a moment in order to say goodbye to his daughter, letting her know just how proud he is of her, especially considering she takes on so many different roles in the battle. Orko, using the knowledge that He-Man brought back from Preternia, was able to use the Spell of Separation to destroy the Snake Men. While some have said this is a form of genocide, well, when you've got an army that its only goal is to eat you, you need to defend yourself. This now left She-Ra, Skeletor, and He-Man free to take on the only remaining adversary on the game board, Hordak. Of course, Skeletor, now with the Havoc staff returned to him, was fully powered up again and ready to face off against his old master. It was a magic battle the like of which Eternia had never seen. Skeletor quickly threw away He-Man and She-Ra from the battlefield in order to face Hordak one-on-one. While he did get the best of Hordak by using a spell to drain his memories and energy, in a last-ditch attack as he lay dying, Hordak unleashed his Buzzsaw attack, blasting Skeletor with an action feature based on the character's release in 1986. He-Man and She-Ra rushed to see Skeletor after he had fallen to the ground, almost left for dead by Hordak's final Buzzsaw attack, but Skeletor would have none of this. He used his last bit of magical powers to pull the techno-organic virus from Bionatops, infusing it into his own body to become the form that we now know as New Adventure Skeletor. Reborn and more powerful than ever, by draining Hordak's energy and memories, he now became fully aware of the vast empire that the Horde commanded across the entire universe. Deciding this was a much loftier goal than simply conquering Eternia, Skeletor made the choice to leave Eternia to head out and conquer the entire Horde Empire for himself. With Skeletor gone, it for the most part left peace on the planet. He-Man and She-Ra had the occasional brute squad to worry about, but otherwise, it was a pretty easy job taking care of the planet with Hordak, King Hiss, and Skeletor gone, and they were ready to kick back and have a well-deserved rest. But it gnawed away at He-Man knowing that Skeletor was out there somewhere and he couldn't do anything about it. And the guilt that he felt, though, was soon going to be washed away with a visit from allies beyond Eternia. Looking out the window of Castle Grayskull, a large spaceship landed right at their feet. Starship Eternia, in fact, named after the very planet that He-Man and She-Ra had been defending. Well, it turned out that the Galactic Protectors were now being plagued by Skeletor and needed more help. They recruited He-Man and She-Ra to come join them and fly off into the Horde Empire to defeat Skeletor once and for all. Other enemies would be out there, and everything would eventually lead back to Eternia again for the third Ultimate Battleground. But again, that's a history toy video for another time. For now, He-Man and She-Ra were ready to blast off into outer space, and She-Ra jokingly asks her brother if he's ready for some new adventures. A great way to lead directly from the 2000X series into, at least continuity-wise, the New Adventures series. Perhaps the greatest fact about the Second Ultimate Battleground is how it was designed to be more of a climax for the 2000X series, the 2001 Mike Young production series, the reboot of Masters of the Universe, and with that cartoon blending seamlessly into the Classics toy line, the Second Ultimate Battleground was positioned very well to be a climax to that series, or at least a season finale, shall we say, and bringing together so many of the different elements that had started in 2000X, such as King Randor's Eternian Council coming to save the day, or the return of King Miro, all things that were hinted at in the series, but never quite brought to fruition. The Ultimate Battlegrounds are three of the most recognizable moments in Masters of the Universe lore, but the second Ultimate Battleground is the one that really captures our imagination, both through its sheer amount of characters involved in the battle, the number of double-page splash pages that were done in the mini-comics, and the fact that it really bridges the gap between the Filmation series, or 2000X, and New Adventures. I'm Toy Guru, and I hope you've enjoyed this look at the Second Ultimate Battleground, one of the quintessential battles of the mythology of Masters of the Universe. If you like this video and want to see more videos that show off the history of the brand, be sure to check back here on Spector Creative. There you'll find videos on the toy industry, the history of many brands including Masters of the Universe, and hopefully more content for you to enjoy. Thanks for watching and see you next time.